Welcome into Bon Appetit. For 70 years, the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery has sponsored the Alabama National Fair, given millions of dollars to area charities. That's the purpose of the fair. Have some fun, help someone. And of course, one of the great things at the Alabama National Fair, the Creative Living Center, inside there's cooking competition. And for the past few years, what we've done is feature Bon Appetit Blue Ribbon winners, Melissa Welch, Baker of the Year, Blue Ribbon, and today we're going to be talking about something I love, apple. I love apple pie, and I never thought I'd love an apple cake, but that's the go.
They're really good. But
Yep.
Thank you for having me back.
Well, you're very
I'm honored
welcome.
to be here and was honored to win this year amongst a lot of good cooks. But this apple cake is good, and it's one that traditionally many of your viewers may have seen as a bundt cake, and it's called a fresh apple cake, and it has a caramel glaze on it. And I adapted this because we have 4 categories that are preliminary categories before you go into the live competitions that I won Baker of the Year and Cook of the Year for. But there are 4 preliminary events that you can bring. They all are brought on the Wednesday before the fair begins, and they're judged. And it's open to anyone who wants to compete. So this year they have some really great categories of scones and baklava, a coffee cake, and cookies. So if any of you bake and you have a specialty of that, you're welcome to come.
Go to the fair's website and you can sign up.
Yes, but this caramel cake originally, like I said, was a bundt cake. And I thought, how can I change this and make it a little bit different? So I ended up doing it in 3 8-inch pans and turn it into a layer cake. And it has Granny Smith apples, which I think are they're tart, they're not nearly as sweet, and the consistency stays good. But it has 3 cups of apples, and then it has a cup of toasted pecans.
And it gives you a good taste, Granny Smith does.
But it makes the cake really moist, really good. And if you make it, if you make it a couple of days ahead of when you're going to eat it, it's so moist, and the flavors just blend together wonderfully. But like I said, it has apples in it. This one has, only took 3 apples to get the 3 cups.
Wow.
So you might have a little difference with your size of apples, but you peel and you cut those up very finely. And then you have pecans, which I toast those a little bit lightly before, because that just brings out the flavor of the pecans. And you chop a cup of pecans, and I have my handy dandy old antique of my grandmother's pecan chopper, and it still works just great. It's wonderful to have that.
Those are the wonderful things that we treasure.
And I love to bring things that my grandmother's or mother had and aunts had into cooking when I do, and especially when we go to the fair and the competitions. We have events in the live judging where we set up a table display, and I always include someone in my family, some part of the dishes or things from them, and I feel like they're there with me when we're doing that. But this cake is very simple. It's flour, baking soda, and salt for the basis, and then you mix together butter, a little bit of butter, but you have your cooking oil, sugar, and eggs, and I love these beautiful brown eggs that we have. But you mix this together, and it just makes a wonderful cake. Not a lot of ingredients, really.
No,
and
it's very simple. And again, if you want this recipe, you look on our screen. We'll give you information on how to get it.
But it just it feels like home when you have something like this. And I think I thought back about memories that I had of growing up and even as an adult. And I can tell you more about the food that I had at an event than I can about what we did or what we wore or anything.
That's right.
The food is my love.
Something great to eat.
But it's a wonderful cake. I'm just going to get in here and cut.
Okay, and while she's doing that, we have this cookbook here that's available at the fair. At the Creative Living Center. It's $15. It doesn't have these recipes. This is almost would be an appendix to the book, but we'll be able to give you these. But if you want to buy it from 2002 to 2022, it's first place winners from the fair. And just look at how nicely that cake comes out.
We hope it does.
It will.
Uh-oh.
You got it.
It might not, but you know what? It's still going to be good.
Amen. Listen, eventually you got to.
Well,
here it comes.
It does not want
it's on its way.
There
That's
we go.
beautiful.
Well, we got part of it.
That's good.
But if you look, you can see the apple pieces all throughout the cake and the pecans. So it really is a great.
And I'm going to go. I'm going to put that like that. So
But don't be afraid to try to cook or to try something. You know, like this one, if it had fallen apart, it would have still tasted good and it would have been a good cake. But I'm going to turn it just a little bit because you can see it's a very moist cake, and it's just delicious. It's great to take to family reunions or to just have on hand. We eat it for breakfast when I make one.
Oh.
It's just good. But I've been honored to be able to do this.
Great.
It's been fun.
And thank you so much for being able to be with us every year.
Well, thank you.
Keep becoming a winner. And just remember the Alabama National Fair, it's 11 days this year, October 4th to October 14th. It's at Garrett Coliseum in Montgomery, sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery. We'll be right back right after this.